we're going to go through and talk about personal and professional leadership development. This is a class that I think will personally develop each and every one of you. So it's going to talk about how you can do personal development, how you can do professional development, what are the skills, what are the techniques to develop that, what are the tools to help you. I think everybody in our class is aware of the SWOT analysis. We'll talk a little bit more about that. I'm going to get into more advanced developments with famous psychometric exams that will help you identify who you are, what made you, what are your goals, and why. I'm going to go through this, but I'm not going to go through this too much right now. I will let the students go through and present this, because as much time as we have as possible, we're going to go through this, especially these types of presentations. We're going to be talking about quite a bit. And to show you what this is, there's several different, this is a quiz that has 60 questions, 64 questions. After you answer this, it will tell you what type of personality you have if you have one of these codes. And my code is a combination of INTJ and ENTJ. And then if you go through here, it will explain what your INTJ, what type of personality, what type of job matches you. And you can keep looking through those and hear quite a few different details and jobs that might match you, and it can help you plan your future. This is a lot of notes. You can see there's probably 65 pages of notes that I have created talking about just my own personality and my own characteristics. Some of these things are fun, talking about like a Harry Potter magic mammal, magic animals that describe me, back to what stresses me, what relieves my stress. So what type of jobs manage me, what jobs match me. There's quite a few things that go through this, and it describes you very well. So I'm not going to go through the big presentation yet, but this is just an example. Again, this presentation, there are ways for you to understand who you are. And you all know you can guess about your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, but there's much more to it. For example, if you study more about these details, you can learn how you learn. There are different learning styles. For example, some people do a visual learning. They learn better visually. Other people learn better with auditory. Other people learn better through reading. Other people learn better by doing some sort of action. And then there's the goals. No matter who you are, if you want to develop, you should have some goals and plans. And they should be SMART goals. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. The idea of SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound, and then long, whether it's starting from a daily goals through to a year to 5 years, 10 years, 20 years goals. And I understand most of you have heard of this, the idea of 20-year goals, lifetime goals. But I will also help you understand most people at your age usually don't do these. And so in Korea and Vietnam and China, so shockingly, a lot of young people do not make 20-year goals. They're focused so much on just the day or the week or the month, they don't look beyond that. And you may do very well in class, but your future is harmed and you can't actually get as much happiness and success if you don't have these long-term goals. So we're going to be talking about that. And then we'll talk more about these mind tools, talking about who you are, what made you, what are your goals, and why. These psychometric tests, for example, There's the Kolb test, there's the Honey and Mumford test, there's the Vark-Fleming test, Myers-Briggs type indicator type tests, and then there's criticisms of these. Again, just to show you again, what we're talking about is this guy, Carl Jung. He did something like a class research project, but many, many years ago, a long time ago. And it became so famous just simply by identifying any person in the world, what type of personality you have, just based off of answering these 60 questions. And the questions are easy. Can I get somebody in class to read this out loud?
You're almost never late for your appointment.
Okay, could you answer that yourself?
Yes.
Okay, good. And that could be a really, really yes, I'm really never late, or just a little bit, I'm not usually late, or I'm in the middle, or a little bit no, or really, really no. Right. And so the next question, good. Can I get somebody else? How about Kim Yunso? Can you read this next question that I have highlighted? Kim Yunso, are you active in class?
Yes.
Please read the section that I have highlighted.
You like to be engaged in an active and fast-paced job.
Right. So you like to be in a job where you're going bally, bally, bally all the time, not a boring desk job. So do you agree? Is that really yes for you or a really no for you? You don't like fast bally, bally, bally jobs.
Oh. Uncertain.
Okay, so you'd put it in the middle. Right. So everybody in class, we've all gone through and we've answered these first two, and they're not difficult. They're not complicated. I will have class time set aside to try to go through these. But regardless of what I do, no matter how much I teach this in class, please, every student here, go through yourself, open this website, answer these questions on your own, and it will show you at the end what is your score, what is your personality type. And then based on what type of personality type, it will tell you what kind of jobs you can get, what type of people you should date, what type of people you should marry, how you can do communication with your boss better. And it shows you, for example, some people, the INFJ, they're quiet, they're mystical, yet they're very inspiring, tireless idealists. So this describes a lot of the different types of people. For example, INTJ, they're imaginative, strategic thinkers with a plan for everything. Or down here, the idea of INFJ, they're quiet, mystical, yet very inspiring, tireless. The idea of logistin, ISTJ, they're very practical, fact-minded individuals who's very reliable, cannot be doubted. So these describe what type of person you are, and it describes what kind of job best match you. So a lot of you don't know what kind of job you want yet. And a lot of you don't know what you want for your future plan. So start by doing this. It's a very simple quiz, and it will tell you what type of job, what type of career might best match you. And I was going through, and I am 50 years old now, and I did some of this when I was about 15 years old, and it matched me even till today. And so it shows you, for example, what type of personality you have, what type of extroverted sensing, thinking, intuition, feeling. I love to strategize. I hate inefficiency. I go crazy in class when people don't answer questions quickly. I enjoy people that argue. I love it when people debate in class or try to correct me and tell me this is wrong. So that's true. And I didn't write this. This is created dozens and dozens of years ago by somebody that's now dead, but it's still very accurate. And it's not just talking about what you like to do and your personality. It talks about what jobs match you and what kind of plans are best for you and what kind of people are best for dating or marriage. And so when you're in the workforce, your ideal job, what you prefer, value, often found in what types of job, what bothers you. So how to avoid getting pissed off at work and how to manage those things with your boss. So no matter what we do in class, I highly suggest everybody go through and learn about these details. Go through this humanmetrics.com. Can somebody in class repeat to me this website? Can you guys see this okay? Can anybody see that and read it?
Humanmetrics.com.
Right, thank you. So as long as you understand that, that would be very helpful for your future. And then after we go through human metrics, I also suggest you check through the www.16personalities.com. That's a fun way to go through it. And then we will talk about some of these other things. So we're trying to help you become a leader, trying to help you identify activities of leaders, activities of your personality, who you are, and then develop those going forward. Almost everybody could probably agree that it's good for you to be successful. You should be a good communicator with other people, right? Everybody agree? Anybody want to disagree and say teacher's drunk and a stupid old man? Anybody want to say that you think it's better not to be a people person? Hua, you agree? Since everybody in the class is sleeping, you agree it's better to be a people person? You should be a people person for you to be successful?
It depends on what's your job.
For any job, what I'm talking about, to be world famous and to be super successful. If you want to be a Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, you need to have people skills. You need to be a people person.
Yeah.
At least learn how to manage other people. Correct?
For writer and like people that do art and music, they don't need to be a people person, right?
Then how would they sell their work? How would they convince other people to read their books? They may be able to be an Einstein and make a new theory, E equals MC squared, but if they don't be a people person and show other people their theory or their book, nobody's going to read it and they're not going to be famous.
So no matter how talented they are, they all need to be, we all need to have communication and people skills.
Yes. Okay. So we agree with that. How about Sung Junso? Do you agree? Sung Junso and Kim Jae-hyun, do you both agree? Obviously, you're not people persons. What about Moon Tae-kyun? Do you agree?
Those people.
Do you agree anyone in the world to be world famous and successful, you need to have people skills. You need to have like we're talking about over here, you need to have people skills. That's one of the main things.
Yes, except Adolf Hitler.
Okay, so that's why I'm actually talking about that. Does anybody know why Adolf Hitler was really famous, other than the fact that he killed millions of people? Why did he become famous at the beginning, before he started to kill people? What made people follow him?
Before he began to the commander,
Yes.
he slayed the parties which disagree with his opinion, then they just kill them.
Well, before what I'm talking about is before he had power to kill his enemies. Right at the very beginning, when he was like a young Katusa or a young soldier, doing military service, doing things as a student, even when he was in university class, everybody in class followed him. So that's my point. He actually had people skills. And one of the English words for people skills is called charisma. Charisma, what is the Korean word to say charisma?
It is same. It's charisma. It's like, yeah,
Okay.
same.
My Korean is perfect. Great. So Adolf Hitler, many studies say, had some of the world's best charisma. He had the best people skills in the world. He also killed almost some of the most people in the world. But what I'm saying is he had some of the best people skills in the world. And so if you want to be successful, I started by saying you need to have great people skills. And Adolf Hitler had the best. And so you should be trying to argue with me, saying, no, I don't want to have people skills because the best in the world is Adolf Hitler. And I don't want to be like Adolf Hitler. That's a good argument. Now you understand? I want you all to say, I'm a crazy old man, I'm a drunk old man, or shut up, old man. I don't want to listen to you. I want you to learn who you are and what might help you and what's good and bad about everything. Even having charisma. Almost everybody here now, even though we've said it, we now know the world's best charisma is Adolf Hitler. Can anybody actually describe what is bad about?
He brainwashed well. They brainwash German people.
Okay. If you have too much of a good thing, you can lie and cheat your followers and make your followers do crazy things like brainwashing them. Okay, good.
Have you ever heard of the what is the PD? PD some kind of whistling man that controls the mice.
You mean a very
PD
bad
분들
man
사나이?
that whistles at sexy girls walking by?
No. I mean that. Wait a minute. I have to check something like a dictionary.
So the overall idea is eventually I want to talk about this. And even if we can't talk about it, I want you to all learn about this and do it on your own. Because I promise you it will help you. Maybe if you get too good at it, you might be able to get millions of people following you and kill people. But I think that's something you don't need to worry about right now. So if you, Uno, if you want to continue teaching us your point, that's fine. But later on, I just want you all to understand that you should be able to go through and do this humanmetrics.com, understand this 16personalities.com. This link here is 65 pages just talking about me and my family. So you can go through that, and then we'll talk about how you can develop things, and no matter what you're going to do or what type of personality you have, how you can develop good goals. And if you invest enough time in things, you will be successful. And then we're going to talk about the individual development plans, how you guys can go through and get your 20-year plans, 10-year plans, even though I assume most of you don't have 20-year plans now. But we can talk about that in class, and then you can make something like this. If you have something like this, it will start helping you better today, immediately. For example, How many students are at Kim Young University? Any guess? I heard something like 32,000 students are at Kim Young. Anybody know how many students are here?
Have no idea.
I'm a new professor, but I heard about 32,000 students, and we only have 30 in class. So there's a lot of others. And if I could challenge you, are you going to be more successful than somebody in the other class beside you? Do you know if you are going to be more successful? I can tell you, if you go through and understand these things here alone, I almost guarantee you will be more successful than at least 15,000 other people at this university. And if you go through and make some sort of schedule like this, what you want in 20 years, what you want in 10 years, in 5 years, in 2 years, 1 year, 6 months, 3 months, 2 months. This, if you make these type of plans, you will be the top 10% of successful people all around you. And that's almost guaranteed. And then if you make that, and if you take a look at it in the big picture, this almost guarantees your success starting from today. For example, almost every other student around you, they plan on doing their classwork, they plan on doing the final exam to get good marks, but then they just focus on going to the next class. But if you focus on management like we talk about in class, and you take your class and you take the class paper, as we said, you don't have to do a class paper in our class, right? What do you need to do to get 100 marks in our class? Kwan, Junha, how do you get 100 marks in our class?
Mm,
And then after that, we will have, soon as we're waiting for Kwan Junha to answer that, but Kim Yun So and Kim Jae-kyung, hopefully you have your sheet up and you're ready to share these details. Kwan Junha?
yeah. Mm,
I'm asking you a question. How can you get 100 marks in our class?
actively attendance, participate. Attendance and weekly topic and midterm project and term project.
Or are you confident that your term project, you're going to, how much can you get for your term project?
I don't remember.
Can somebody take a look at the monitor? It's on
Yeah,
the
I think-
monitor right in front of you.
It will be total 70%.
Right. 40 marks for your final paper, 30 marks for your midterm project that's already finished. Right. But do you have to do your final paper?
Not particularly. Like
Right.
if we show us some reliable papers on the Scopus, we can get 2 points.
You can get 2 points each week for bonus, right? But there's still the 40 marks here. There's 40 marks for a final term paper, or you guys aren't aware of what I started talking about in class.
The home exam.
There is a take-home exam. Yes, you can do the take-home exam. if you guys start sending me questions that you think are good, smart questions and smart answers for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6, we can build up a list of questions and answers, and Hua can share with you some of those questions and answers. For example, what is ethnocentrism? Talk about parochialism, those type of details. They could be take-home exam type questions. And what we were talking about is either you write a paper about it, or you do a final exam and you write a paragraph about several of these different topics. And you can have that as a take-home exam. I just wanted to clarify with that. So next, it's time for the students to take over. We're still waiting for you guys to start showing your screens. Kim Jae-kyung and Kim Yun-so.
Professor, I need the hosts.
I thought we've already given that to you, haven't we?
No.
No, only you can do that. So
I thought any of the co-hosts could. Okay, so
you can do that.
it's Kim Jae-kyung. Can Kim Jae-kyung, or who's going to be presenting in your group? Kim Jae-kyung or Kim Yun-so?
Me and Yun So-choo.
Kim Jae-kyung. Okay, you are now co-host. And Yun-so, please start saying hello.
Yes.
Okay, you can both start presenting.
Start now.
Yes, we have about 30 minutes left. You can take as much time as you want. If you finish quickly, if you only want to take a very short presentation, we have other students that will present, and then we can go back, and if we still have time, we'll talk about that leadership details. Go ahead, talk about your Korean cultural exports.
Today we will present about Korean culture exports. In this presentation, we have some keywords. It is culture expert, Korean wave, globalization, cultural flow, program export, and audience. For the first, what is culture expert? Culture expert is transferred to culture meaning from one cultural sphere to another. And also we can call intellectual partnership. And this paper is about impact of Korean wave on beauty market trend in Malaysia. The Korean wave, actually we called it Hallyu, is spreading throughout Asia from K-pop and drama. And we call K-pop and drama help boost to export of Korean products and goods. I found some interesting in this paper was Korean wave influencing export volume and had economic impact, especially on the beauty business. Through this paper, studying the trends in Malaysia cosmetic market is academically significant with regard to understanding the economic effects of Korean wave. And there are many existing studies prove the correlation between cultural trends and economic growth. So I think cultural content like culture expert has the power to hold an important bearing on a culture economic.
The Korean wave started with the popularity of K-drama in China in late 1990s. Actually, the term Hallyu which refers to the popularity and spread of Korean popular culture over the world, was coined by Beijing journalist in 1919. Next.
Actually, is it okay, Kyosunim, Professor, can I make a couple of comments right in the middle of your presentation? We are at week 12 now, right?
Yeah.
And since we have almost finished the course, some of us should be aware of some of the things we've been teaching. So I just want to make sure everyone in class is aware of some of the basics that we're teaching. Is it okay? New Kim Yoon-so and Kim Jae-young, new professors, is it okay if we give you some comments right in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay. I would
No.
like too late, too late. Since we have finished the first half of the semester and I was very nice and very soft and friendly and supportive right at the beginning, I'm going to start being a little bit harder towards the end. So I'm not going to be Adolf Hitler yet, but I'm going to be a little bit more strict and make sure people know what are the right things to do. Everyone that has presented, I have evaluated your presentation, and there we can give you marks and comments about details, but some of you have presented and then you just walked away. You didn't even check what is your grade. You didn't even talk to me, what is the evaluation? So you're not going to learn to develop. I want you guys to manage the culture, our class, in the international style. I want you guys to realize that when you give a presentation, the most important part of the presentation is to exchange understanding of information. Don't just say something and walk away like a very big, old, powerful Kyosunim. That's actually not a good thing. So, can the new Kyosunim, Kim Jae-young and who is it, Yoon-so, can you ask one of your students what is the correct method to reference in each slide? You don't have to do it now. Just ask somebody in class to say what is the correct way to do it. So I want everybody in class, you must know what is the correct way to reference in class. Go ahead, keep asking. And so what I'm saying is, this is your presentation, right? We've gone through and we've talked about this, correct? We talked about this. You presented something here and you presented something here, but from the very first class, we had this presentation talking about how to write a paper in Grant, and this went through and taught you how to develop. But I think a lot of people, you haven't talked about this very much yet. And I talked about this and you haven't talked about it very much. So I want to get you guys to understand it. And so in our very, very first class presentation, we were teaching what were the student requirements for our class. And we went through, we talked about this, we talked about this, where your marks come from. And this is how you're usually supposed to present. Give a title, give a summary, also the key words, talk about why the topic is important. That's the introduction. You know this, right? And then there's the references, and it talks about here. So what are we supposed to do on each slide?
We got our references at the last page.
Great. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what are you supposed to do?
Can you just tell us to
Nope.
correct the thing?
Because I've already told you guys like 20 times.
Can
10
you
10 different.
repeat?
I will after you get a classmate to try to answer it. So you ask one of your classmates to guess. And if the first classmate doesn't know, ask a second one. Ask 2 or 3. After you have asked 2 or 3, I will tell you the answer.
Anyone can tell us.
So we need to make a citation. So that would be the author and the year.
Good.
On
Good.
each page.
Yeah.
In every paragraph, almost every sentence. So let's go back and take a look at what he was just saying. That is explained here. It's explained here. And this page is talking about what are some of the best things to explain. And now this is your presentation. So how are you doing? What are we missing here?
Author.
The author
And date.
and the date, yes. And also, I just wanted to point out, DBpedia, it's like Google. It's not the name of a journal. It's nice, but you don't need that. And over here, this is nice. Almost every one of your students, New Kyosun Nim, you have many students in class, and many of them last week and the week before, they did the same thing. They had this type of thing. What did your student just say? How is this?
It is nice. It is nice because you can test directly, but at least you need to write down the author's name and access date, and then you need to put the this type of the link.
Not really. That's a reasonable way of doing it. I agree. That's a reasonable way. But the professional way, that first student, I don't know who said it, but he said you're supposed to cite the author's name and year. That's the only thing you're supposed to cite in each slide or paragraph. And then at the end, what you have at the end is you have this stuff. This is also okay. This is the author's name and the year, but it's usually better in 2021 to also have DOI or the website link for each place where you're getting it. So why? Because it shows you guys inside here, if you're talking about anything that's reliable, you will usually say the name of the person and the year they wrote it. Usually down in like the Economist magazine or many of like the CNN news reports, those reports, they will say something in the website, but they don't say the name of the person that wrote it. And so if you don't know who exactly wrote it, you can't really check. And so that's one thing I just wanted to teach everybody. No matter what we're teaching, we're talking about promoting Korean values. Korea is famous for growing from super poor to super rich, super fast. It's one of the fastest growing countries in the world for that. And now it's famous for Korean drama and Korean music. But it's also becoming famous for education. And I want you guys just to be aware of that aspect of education. Now I'll shut up. Go ahead. Please go ahead and continue teaching Kyosun Nim. You were talking about this stuff. While we get ready with Yoon So and Kim Jae-kyung, you're going to be getting ready to teach. Every other student that's going to be presenting until now, until the end of class, we should start to get more and more strict so we make sure you understand these details more and more clearly. at the end. Are you guys going to turn on Netflix and show us a movie?
Meanwhile, the advance of the internet, including online streaming sites and social networking sites relating to K-dramas, has definitely helped the spread of K-dramas. In particular, Asiatic fans have helped prepare subtitles in different languages like English, Chinese, Japanese, Spanish, Vietnamese, etc. These subtitled K-drama have helped attract an international audience who don't know Korean. Next. Yeah. Once again, Hallyu 1.0 yes, there was in the late 1990s to early 2000s is when the drama Winter Sonata gained enormous popularity in Japan. Hallyu 2.0 is when K-pop began to take over the Southeast Asian market. And it's referred to Hallyu 3.0 as when K-pop stages from Asia to North America and Europe thanks to stars like Psy and BTS. So currently living in the age of Hallyu 3.0. So what is Hallyu 4.0? This will occur when Korean contents become major players in moving capital and influencing production and distribution. So I think Parasite will provide the momentum for us to move into Hallyu 4.0. Next, if we elevate Korean soft power competitiveness to the world's top rankings, the culture industry could become a driving force for the Korean economy. The key is recreating Hallyu contents through the convergence of culture and economy. When Hallyu is able to combine emotions, art, technology, and industry, K-contents will surely become Korea's new export strength.
And this is our reference, and thank you for listening.
Great. Thank you very much. You guys, to do the best, you should also try to get feedback and check the understanding of your audience. So can you try to do that? Kim Jae-kyung and Yoon So?
Is there any comment or question?
That's kind of you, but that's not exactly what I was saying, right? You need to check the understanding, not just answer questions. You need to find out how well people understand it. And to be more specific, find out what grade they give you. Did they give you a 0? How many grades how many points can you get for today?
30.
70 is a percent, not points.
Can I make a comment about this presentation?
Please do. That's very helpful of you.
Okay, so first of all, I really enjoyed this presentation, but I think it would be much nice to have a summary representing it on each slide. Yeah, for the understanding who listen to this presentation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is anybody brave enough? Is anybody next? One of the next classes we have is talking about leadership. Is there anyone that is a strong enough leader here, bold enough, with enough charisma to suggest grades for you? Should we give them 0 out of 100? How many points are possible? Do you know?
What is the full point, by the way?
You should know that. Every
Oh.
student should know that. For a weekly
Oh
presentation,
yeah, it was 20.
correct. For
Yeah.
weekly presentations, you can give 20. If you give extra Scopus articles, you might be able to get a few extra, more than 20, but usually it's 20 points. So do they get 1 out of 20? 2 out of 20?
I'll suggest 15.
Kim Yunso, how many points do you think you deserve?
Our score?
No, my score. Yes, your score. What do you think? What do you suggest you deserve?
Mm, I hope 20 over 20 votes is up to you, Professor. Just I hope.
Okay, what about your class? What about your partner, Kim Jae-kyung?
Yes.
You're in serious negotiations now. We are supposed to be talking about personal and professional leadership skills. Part of those leadership skills are charisma. Part of those leadership skills are honesty and hard work. Do you agree with your partner that you deserve absolutely perfect 100%, 20 out of 20, no mistakes?
We got mistake, but we work hard, so I think we can deserve it.
So if I open a company and work really hard, no matter if my product sucks or not, I should still become super successful and become a Bill Gates? Does it matter just how hard you work?
No,
Okay, who said that? I like whoever said that. I didn't hear.
that was me.
Kim Jae-kyung?
Yeah.
So you're saying that it doesn't matter how hard you work to be a leader. Okay, I agree with you. So what does matter for you to be a leader, since that's the focus of this week?
I think that there are many things to be the leader,
Such as?
such as
I don't even know if you...
honesty.
Honesty, okay, honesty, and you are saying you deserve 100%. You know, did they do absolute perfect, or did you catch them with intellectual theft of ideas?
They were not so perfect, I think.
Okay, I think somebody's starting to be a little bit honest. Can you guys explain? How about you guys show a debate right now in class? Let's see how many students are going to support UNO and how many students are going to support Kim Jae-kyung and Kim or Yunso.
So it is 20 versus not perfect, right?
It's either 20 out of 20 is what some people have suggested. They said absolutely perfect. They make no mistakes, even though we've talked about referencing issues.
No, I didn't say it like that.
Okay, keep going.
Can you just give us the grade?
I could, but that's not helping you.
It's already help us. You already.
Actually, no, it doesn't. Just
No,
showing
it
up,
does.
just showing up for class and getting a grade and leaving, it might be easy. And I agree, it might be easy for you and it might make it better for a class next year, but it's not as good for you. By being able to argue with me, by being able to debate with anyone, that shows international cultural skills. And that's the topic of this class. By showing you're loyal or obedient, that might be good in Korea, but it's not good outside of Korea all the time. I'm trying to, and this week's topic is focused on professional leadership skills. And one of the things that we're trying to focus on is leadership skills, charisma skills, debating skills.